So what's up, folks? We are inside of a 2019 RAM Powerwagon. This is a pretty truck. And we are headed out to do an off-road course. They offered to let me drive, but I'd have to wait for another truck, and I want to see how this thing does. So I am here with the trail boss. What's going on, Nick?
How you doing, bud? What's going on?
Doing real good. Real good. So are we going to stress this truck out today?
It's really hard to put a Powerwagon in a situation where it really pushes it to its limits. You pretty much need washing machine sized boulders, and especially if you're going to bring out the winch. And then you're probably going to do a little bit of body damage, but it's definitely the truck you want to have with you if you have to go out and come back by yourself, and if recovery is necessary, you've got all the tools to do it on the Powerwagon.
What about when you got these slow moving RVs in front of you?
Well, fortunately for us, we're going to turn off the road right here.
Oh, there we go. So he's going to toss me around here a little bit. I think he's also going to be talking to the drivers behind us, so I won't interrupt him. I'll let you tag along for the ride.
I want you to put it in neutral, and I want you to grab that big manual transfer case shifter and shove it all the way forward. And don't be afraid to manhandle it. It can take it. You'll see the auto park's been disabled, and electronic stability control is off. So now you're in 4 low. The other thing I want you to do right around your right knee is underneath that sponge shifter is a sway bar button. I want you to push that sway bar button. You'll see it flash at you, and as soon as it has a chance to disconnect the sway bar, it will. That's going to free up the front axle so it can move a little more independently from the frame, and allowing more flex, articulation, and even a more comfortable ride. You'll pretty much notice it right away as soon as you drop one of the wheels into a bump, that the truck just feels better in off-road.
Hey, Nick, I don't see a road on the map.
That's actually what makes this truck really neat, is that you can just go out and carve paths. As a matter of fact, a lot of the trails you're going to be on today, we made with this truck. Used the tradesman version of it. All right, folks, you see a lot of signs that make it look like you're not very welcome in this area, and the owner doesn't like visitors, and he's right. And you're right, he doesn't. But don't worry too much, because he's a terrible shot.
Only on weekdays.
Now this turn right here is kind of steep, and it's going to tilt you to the left a little bit, but don't worry. Yeah, it's best to try to 3-point it, or best to 3-point it. Now there's because a big rock you won't see on your driver's side left front corner there. So just drive in and then back out again, reset your position, turn hard right, and head back up the hill, and you'll be good.
I thought we were going that way.
I'm going to go ahead and drive up here a bit. I'm going to pop out, run back, and help you guys up that little obstacle. After this run, I think we get a collection of people together, and we'll head up to this mound to my left, and we can do a little winch demo up there. We can show you how it works when you find yourself in a situation where, even though you got front and rear lockers, 33-inch tires, and all kinds of ground clearance, you need a little help from the winch. That winch is just one of the features that makes the Powerwagon the most off-road capable pickup. I've had people argue with me on that point, and I simply say, no problem. I'll make half the course, you make half the course, and I will put a brick wall at the end of my course and winch over it.
You know, it's actually a very interesting topic because you can make a truck capable, right? You can in the aftermarket. But as this truck comes equipped, it is an outrageously capable truck, pre-equipped with the tools that you might otherwise have to add, and then hope that you added the right way. This is just a very, very cool truck to have.
I spent hours fabricating trucks in the garage to make the suspension flex, put lockers in place, add bigger powertrain systems, but I still couldn't beat this truck. I could never build something in my garage that will do what this truck will do and be backed by a warranty.
Yep, and that's the key, being backed by a warranty.
And there's 3 different gauntlets we're going to pass through. At this point in time, we get to use some more buttons and switches on the Powerwagon right down there by your right knee. You'll see a button that says front and rear and a button that says rear. I want you to click the front and rear button. So what you're doing right now is you're turning on lockers in the front and rear, and what that means is we are eliminating the differentiation of tire spin from left to right, not just on the front, but also in the rear. The Powerwagon also has a locking transfer case, so there's no differentiation from the front to the rear. Now we don't have differentiation from the left to the right either, which means that all 4 tires will spin at the same time, clawing and gripping for any traction they can find. Put about 1/4 inch of throttle into it. That's all you'll need. You have plenty of torque at that right foot, and you just need very little pedal movement to make the vehicle do what you want it to.
So I've mounted the camera on the windshield, so my body isn't the determining factor of stability. We are at an incredible angle here right now.
Thanks, bud.
This is where those skid plates come in handy, isn't it?
Got it, man. Should have had a good flex there. Yeah, it was pretty twisted up. It felt good. Must have looked better.
Guys, you may not realize it from watching a video, but this is a pretty complex course. And I know a lot of people watch this and say they can do this in any vehicle they've had, but I've been to a lot of these off-road courses, and this is by far the most difficult of any of them that I've been to thus far. Let's take a look at that. Now we have the front sway bar disconnected, so we can have this type of articulation. If you didn't have it disconnected, you'd essentially be tying the front suspension together, and you wouldn't get this type of movement. Let's go to the other side so you can see how high the body is above that tire. This is probably the best angle I can give you to show you just how extreme this truck is, and in terms of how much clearance it has in articulation. That looks to be about 25 inches between the top of the tire and the bottom of the fender.
We changed the trailing arms on it for the front axle to what we call an articulate, and it allows the front suspension to move even more with the trailing arms. Now that in conjunction with the sway bar disconnect allows me to stuff that left front tire into the fender well, and then I can also stuff the right rear into the fender well, which is why you have this huge, teetering action. I basically have the truck just teetering right now on the strength of the suspension on the front left and the rear right. Now, you also see like vehicles and they're driving through some situation and they got a tire off the ground, but you don't want to engineer a vehicle to where a tire comes off the ground, because if a tire's off the ground, it means you no longer have traction on that tire. So that's why we've engineered the truck to do exactly what it's doing here. The axles are completely flexed out to help the different suspension systems, and you will still find yourself in situations though where a tire can come that far, and in that case, if you don't have a locker, you're just going to spin the tire. So now it's going to put the power to the right wheel, right rear, and the front left to pull me through it. Let's go, you guys. So a lot of transfer cases and transmission housings are made of aluminum and lightweight materials. So the Powerwagon has a selection of skid plates to protect those components. Doesn't need a lot of protection, but if there is a strike, you want something else to take the brunt of the impact, and those skid plates do that extremely well. Up here on my right-hand side, there's a nasty little gully. You're going to see me go to my left. There's a reason for that. I dropped a right rear tire of one of these trucks into that thing, and it bounced me through the ceiling of the roof of the truck. So just stay to your left as much as possible. Coming up on this crest, we're going to use some more switches and buttons that the Powerwagon has for off-road features. And again, at your right knee, if you look below that aluminum sponge shifter, you're going to see a button that looks like a little pickup truck going downhill with a clock in the back of it. I want you to push that button. That is your hill descent control. In your cluster, it will say hill descent on, adjust speed shifter. The horn cover itself, to the right of it, where your right thumb would be, has a gear limit, plus and minus. And the up cluster, you'll see in the upper right-hand corner, it says 0.6 miles an hour, followed by a little picture of the same exact truck that's on the switch with the clock in the back of it. What you're going to use is that plus button, and you're going to take it all the way up to 2.5. That's 2.5 miles an hour. That is now your descent speed. I always had a hard time with this technology just because it was so strange for me to just let the truck do the work, but I take my foot off the brake, and sure as heck, the technology's there to slow the truck down all by itself. If you look up to the right, you see a crevasse that I really would have loved to put a Powerwagon course through, but the owner of the property wasn't going to have it because they knew what we were going to do. So this downhill portion right here is actually kind of nice. The Powerwagon has a forward camera feature that you can get for it. Now, there is a Powerwagon on this course right now that has that feature, and I'm driving it. And for that, I apologize. But it is actually really nice to be able to see where you're going. So this crest that I'm doing right now, you're just going to have to let trust fall me and to know that there is a road there when you come up and over. It'll just be a slight right turn. Powerwagon is its own model. It's a crew cab 4x4 in that configuration only. However, there is one other way you can get the Powerwagon, and it is in a tradesman with the Powerwagon Equipment Group. It comes with all the same features that a Powerwagon has for off-road, but not the same amenities. And there is one of those trucks in this group, and it's the one with the pretty chrome bumpers that Andrew's driving. Now, the RAM Powerwagon comes standard with a 6.4 liter Hemi engine with 410 horsepower, 429 pound-feet of torque. So at this point in time, your rigs are all set up. There's no speed limit, but something else is really nice about this truck is that even though we're in 4 low, you can still maintain a pretty decent clip up to about 50 miles an hour. Not only that, you get the leverage of 2.64 to 1 and the conversion, so you're leveraging an 8-speed transmission with all that power and torque. So catch me if you can. Now, you may have noticed during that little run that the truck automatically turned off the sway bar disconnect and automatically reconnected it because it realized that you're going a certain speed that they no longer thought was a good idea to have that disconnected. So at this point in time, we're going to go ahead and put the trucks back in neutral. Then you're going to grab that manual transcase shifter and pull it all the way back, and then click up 1 to put it into 2 high. So again, put the truck in neutral, grab the transfer case shifter, pull it all the way back, and then click it up one to put it into 2 high. And now you're ready to head back to camp.
Nick, I appreciate you for taking me on this ride along. This is one hell of a camper truck.
You're good. You have to get out and do it yourself now.
I know. And you know what? When it puts a smile on your face, you know you built a good truck.
Can you believe I get paid for this?
I know. Tell me about
It's
it.
ridiculous.
All right, my friends. Guys, if you haven't had a chance, please take a moment, subscribe to my channel, give me a thumbs up. We'll talk to you again real soon.